In the small town of Maplewood, Oregon, life moved gently. Slow mornings, friendly neighbors, and quiet evenings filled with the scent of pine and rain. Inside a modest, blue-painted house on Willow Street lived Karen Miller, a widowed mother in her late 40s, and her 21-year-old son Ethan. Ever since Ethan was a little boy, Karen had been both mother and father to him. Her husband, Tom, a firefighter, had died in the line of duty when Ethan was just 6. Since that day, Karen's world revolved around making sure her son grew up strong, kind, and capable. She worked as a high school counselor, the kind of woman who always had a soft word and warm smile for everyone, even when her own heart felt tired. Now Ethan was grown, studying mechanical engineering at a local college. He was tall, soft-spoken, and responsible, but lately, Karen noticed something was off. He seemed distracted, distant, and often frustrated. The once easy conversations over dinner had turned into quiet meals, filled with silence and half-hearted smiles. One chilly Saturday morning, as light rain tapped gently on the kitchen window, Karen brewed coffee and called out, "Ethan. Breakfast is ready." He came downstairs, wearing his favorite gray hoodie, eyes tired but trying to smile. "Morning, Mom," he said quietly, sitting down. "Morning, sweetheart," Karen replied. "You've been up late again, haven't you?" "Yeah," he said with a shrug. "Just working on a project. Finals are coming up." Karen could see there was more behind his tiredness than schoolwork. She didn't push, she just placed a plate of scrambled eggs and toast in front of him. After a few minutes of silence, she said gently, "Ethan, you know you can talk to me, right? About anything." He looked up, his fork halfway to his mouth, then sighed. "I know, Mom. It's just, I don't want to stress you out." Karen smiled faintly. "You worrying about me is the sweetest thing, but I'd rather you share than keep things bottled up." Ethan hesitated, then finally said, "I just feel lost. Everyone around me seems to know what they're doing. My friends have internships, plans, big goals. I don't even know if I'm good enough. I keep thinking I'm going to mess everything up." Karen's heart ached. She reached across the table and placed her hand over his. "Oh, Ethan, you don't have to have everything figured out right now. Life isn't a race. It's okay to move at your own pace." He tried to smile but his eyes were moist. "Yeah, I know. It's just hard." She squeezed his hand. "Take it easy, son. You've already come so far. I believe in you. Always have, always will." Later that afternoon, Ethan drove to the local park where he used to play as a kid. The swings creaked in the wind, and the tall oak trees stood like silent witnesses to the past. Sitting on a bench, he watched a group of kids laugh and chase each other through the grass. He remembered his dad teaching him to ride a bike right here, Karen clapping proudly from the sidewalk. That memory warmed his chest, and he suddenly realized how much his mom had done for him. All those nights she stayed up helping him study, the way she worked extra hours just to afford his books, the gentle pep talks when life got too heavy, she had carried both their weights on her shoulders. The next day, he returned home early from campus. Karen was folding laundry in the living room when he came in. "Hey, Mom," he said, smiling for the first time in days. "Want to go for a walk?" Her eyes lit up. "I'd love to." They walked down Maplewood Lane, leaves crunching beneath their feet. The sky was glowing orange with sunset, and for a while, neither spoke. It was a peaceful silence, the kind that needed no words. Finally, Ethan said, "I went to the park yesterday. The one where Dad used to take me." Karen looked at him softly. "Oh. I haven't been there in years. I was just thinking," he continued, "you've done so much for me, Mom. I don't say it enough, but, thank you. For everything." Karen stopped walking and looked at him, her eyes glassy with emotion. "You don't have to thank me, honey. You're my son. That's all I ever needed to do, love you." He smiled. "Still, I needed to say it. The next few weeks brought small but meaningful changes. Ethan started volunteering at a local workshop where kids learned basic mechanics. Helping others reignited his confidence, it reminded him of his strengths. Karen noticed the difference immediately. He laughed more, talked more, and even started helping her in the garden again. One evening, they sat together on the porch, watching the stars. Remember when we used to do this when I was little? Ethan said. Karen chuckled. How could I forget? You used to point at airplanes and call them shooting stars. He laughed. I was a dreamer. You still are, she said. That's a good thing. Don't ever lose that. Ethan turned to her. Mom, do you ever feel like Dad's still watching over us? Karen looked up at the stars. Every single day. There was a peaceful silence between them, the kind that didn't need to be broken. Then she added softly, he'd be proud of you, Ethan. So proud. He smiled and whispered, I hope so. Months passed. Ethan finished his semester with top grades and landed an internship at a local engineering firm. Karen could hardly contain her joy when he brought home the offer letter. Oh, Ethan, I'm so proud of you, she said, hugging him tightly. He laughed. You're going to make me cry, Mom. Well, then we'll both cry, she said, wiping her eyes. That's what moms do. That night, as Ethan packed his things for his new job, he found an old photo, him sitting on his father's shoulders, Karen standing beside them, smiling brightly. He placed the photo on his desk and stared at it for a long time. He whispered, I'll make you both proud. I promise. A year later, Ethan graduated. The ceremony was held in a large auditorium, filled with proud parents and excited students. When his name was called, Karen stood up, tears shining in her eyes, clapping harder than anyone else in the room. Afterward, Ethan handed her his graduation cap and said, This is for you. Karen laughed, shaking her head. Oh no, that's yours. He smiled. I wouldn't have earned it without you. She hugged him tight and whispered, Take it easy, son. The world is yours now, just don't forget where you came from. Ethan smiled. Never will, Mom. Years later, when Ethan became a successful engineer, he bought a new house, not too far from Maplewood. And on Sundays, he'd drive over to visit his mom. They'd sit in the same kitchen, drinking coffee, laughing about old times, and sharing quiet moments of gratitude. One afternoon, as they watched the rain fall outside, Karen said softly, You know, Ethan, life isn't about rushing to the finish line. It's about walking slowly enough to notice the beauty along the way. Ethan nodded. You're right, Mom. You always are. And as the rain kept falling, they sat there, a mother and her son, bound by love, memories, and an unspoken promise that no matter where life took them, they'd always find their way back home.